How's it going over there in Trump land? Rick is looking goofy. Hey, y'all. Rick and I live in Lisbon, Portugal. And we get accused from time to time about not telling the truth about how it is to live here. We hear folks saying
Y'all just say the good stuff. All
exactly.
the fun. No, there's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun. Like y'all went out to saw Jurassic Park
We
today.
we went and celebrated, for those of you who have been here before and might know him, Alex's birthday. So we went out and hung out and watched Jurassic Park at the movie theater and ate popcorn and acted like big grown young men.
Yeah. But the reality is that this is life, right? Living someplace else does not mean that then everything is hunky dory and everything is roses and rainbows, right?
Lord,
So
no.
we're going to talk about the reality of being an expat and some of the things that we don't talk about often. And especially now when things are so crazy in the United States and everyone is in panic mode and like, I gotta get out of here. I just gotta get out of here right now, right? Slow your roll a little bit. Slow your roll.
Take a breath. Breathe.
Right? And listen and really be thoughtful about what your next step is. Right?
Yeah.
So, hey y'all, my name's Housesitting.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, we talk about travel and life abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan. We help y'all get your money straight so you can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is a good thing.
All right, sweetheart. So what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about the realities of being an expat that not everybody always talks about or not talk about enough.
Exactly. But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call. We were looking at our money, y'all, and it looked crazy. But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth, y'all. If we can do that,
you can do it too.
Exactly. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. We know there's a lot of lurkers around there. About 50% of you are lurking around and watching and not subscribed. We're trying to get to 100,000 because we believe that financial freedom and location freedom is part of I want to say reparations, but no, they owe us, but can be part of the liberation of our people. We think that this is important information for our community. If you believe as we do, then please share this information, subscribe, hit that like, the notification bell twice, so you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video.
Yep.
All right. So I think we should just give them the 5 main things that we're going to be talking about right off the bat. And then we can get into number 1.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, expat life is not a vacation.
No, it's not.
Number 2,
dealing with immigration and bureaucracies ain't no joke.
No joke, y'all. Dealing with conversion rates, taxes, right? And protecting your money. That's number 3. Number 4,
dealing with everything being in another language.
Things like we take that for granted. In America, we really take that for granted.
We do.
And in America, like most government documents are in about, at least in California and Colorado, about 10 different languages, right? Not in other countries necessarily. And then number 5, dealing with knowing that there's a certain segment that does not want you in their country.
Yeah, because they're everywhere.
Just like in the United States.
Just like in the United States.
Right? Just like in the United States. So those are the 5 broad things that we're going to talk about today. Because for those of you who don't know, Rick, our residency expired May 22nd, y'all. They are that far behind. They are so far behind. The immigration department here in Portugal is so far behind that they keep having to extend the time and saying, okay, everybody whose, cards expire by, June 30th, let's just say, Y'all are good until October 30th. And they'll probably extend it again if they haven't caught up.
Yeah.
Right? And so what does that mean? That means technically we shouldn't be leaving the country. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to get back in, because now it's like, does every single immigration person at the airport realize that the government has extended it until October 30th? Do they know that? Are they going to let us back in? All of that stuff. And we went to, how many different places did we go to trying to find out where we could make an appointment?
Oh, we went to at least, well, the main one.
We,
IRN office twice, AMA a couple of times,
and then we went to the
Freguesia
office because they told us the wrong place.
Yeah. So
we went to 4 different places, y'all. 4 different places, just trying to figure out. And these are places that our immigration person told us to go to.
Mm-hmm.
4 different places to try to figure out how we make an appointment to renew our visa.
Not just how you make an appointment, who you send an email to get an email confirmation to get an appointment somewhere.
I don't know.
Just an email appointment somewhere.
It is so frustrating. And so Rick is like, he's, I've been kicked off Facebook, y'all. So I don't know what they're saying in the Facebook groups. But Rick goes on and checks in Americans and friends in Portugal.
I check all the different sites.
We check our WhatsApp groups, see if anybody knows something, and say, oh, I heard, and they'll post some article, and then we'll click the link that's supposed to go to this new portal that's now going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and it don't work. It is frustrating as hell. Y'all know we have a family reunion coming up in fall. Y'all know we will be celebrating Rick's birthday in Querétaro, Mexico. Everybody watching is invited. If y'all want to come to Querétaro, Mexico, I'm probably going to do a form or something. I'll probably do an Eventbrite. I'll do an Eventbrite since I don't have Facebook anymore. I'll do an Eventbrite, and that way, if y'all are going to come, we can let the place know how many people we're going to have. But anyway. So we're going to be celebrating Rick's birthday. That was already planned. The tickets for the family reunion were bought like in November, December, something like that, right? Because my aunt, who's no longer with us, harassed and harangued me.
She twisted our arm.
I know y'all coming.
You gotta come. You gotta come.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we agreed, because who knew that we would be losing family members? Like, they're just dropping off, y'all. And so time is short, life is short. Don't wait, but be purposeful and thoughtful when you're doing, when you're making your moves. And so, we've sent the confirmation of little family reunion cruise, you are confirmed, cruise date, blah, 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 whoop-de-woo. Mm-hmm. Sent that. And now we've got our flight, so I can send that information to the email that the people said is the right one.
But
we haven't heard jack squat. I have sent them like 5 emails. Have not heard jack squat. Not jack squat. And so this is our 4th summer. We should have already gotten renewed, and we should be on our way to permanent residency or citizenship. But because they have been behind since we got here.
Yeah.
They've been behind since we got here. Because, our renewal should have happened in the fall. It should have happened in the fall. So, fall of 2024. That's when it should have happened. But our first appointment was dragged out for 6 or 7 months, and now this appointment. So, this is just, you got to weigh the pros and the cons, and this is just life. This is just kind of one of the things.
It's what it is. It is what it is, and you have people that are going to appointments, and when they get to their appointments, they are told at their appointments that their appointment has been canceled and rescheduled.
Yeah.
for like a few months down the road.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it takes patience,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, just gotta kind of hold your tongue, and you know, it's wild. It truly is.
Oh my God. Shaquan is saying, I did not get your first emo appointment for a year. Oh my gosh. See, so what had happened was, oh, thank you, Allison. Um, is that when we got here, we were under SEF. That was their old immigration department. Okay, y'all. And so we were like one of the last batch to get in under SEF before they reorganized and supposedly made it more efficient. If I remember correctly, they were separating customs from immigration. And so the immigration department was going to be one thing and customs was going to be another, if I remember correctly. So now we have, instead of SEF, it's now IMA. I don't know what IMA stands for. Can't remember what SEF stood for. SEF. Now it's AIMA.
IMA has something to do with immigration.
So the I in IMA is probably immigration. So immigrant. So either way it goes, like it's worse now than it was before. It's worse now than it was before. And I feel for the people who are having to deal with it for their first go round. It was bad enough before. And it's just bad, you know. And I want folks to realize that moving abroad does not mean that problems disappear, right? Moving abroad does not mean that life doesn't show up, that every day is going to be cafes and museums and the beach. And well, a lot of days are like that.
It could add a little. It can add a little bit of stress to you, but hopefully for a short period.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's not that, it's going to be something else. Every country has their things, right? Like one of the things about Spain, one of our members, if you want to join, we were chitty chatting with our members, with the members of our Black Utopia channel, right before we go live. We chat. We start an hour before we go live, and we chat for 45, 50 minutes or so. And so one of our utopians has chosen Spain. And one of the things about Spain for me is they're always having a damn protest. And it seemed difficult. Now where she's moving, I don't know, because it's a smaller city. But and I haven't been there. But the two major cities that we've been to, they're always having a damn protest. And so you try to call a Bolt or a Lyft or Uber, whatever, or you know, you're trying to get across town or this or that, and you can't because there's a protest. You know, and if it's important, if it's a doctor's appointment or something like that, you can be SOL. You can be SOL, right? Like I remember when we were in Madrid and that happened.
Yes.
So it's every country has their things. Now, thankfully, what they're not doing is disappearing people off the street. That's what they're not doing.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
No, last time I checked, right? They're not doing that.
The worst thing I heard, and I don't know if it was anybody but like that looked like us, were in Spain where they were squirting people with water pistols.
Oh yeah, with the super
But
soakers.
it was it was for visitors. It wasn't for people that were moving here.
Exactly.
It was for tourists.
Exactly. So, some tourists treat the city because, especially, I'm going to say, I think Americans are the worst. I just do. And they treat countries like this like Disneyland because I mean it really is magical as far as the architecture and everything, and you are always reminded that you're not in America. You're always reminded that you're in a country that is 10 times older than the country of your birth. And so from that standpoint, yeah, it is kind of magical, but these are people's lives.
Yeah.
Right. These are people's lives, and they're going about their everyday business, and people are walking around acting as though they're animals in a zoo to be photographed. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. All right, let's say hello to the folks who are in the chat, and then we will get to dealing with immigration and bureaucracies, even though I just kind of talked about that. But there's more to it. On other things about just daily life is like, it took us about a year to learn the bus system,
Yeah.
right? And so,
The metro, the bus. The
right,
metro was
the
easier.
metro is easy because there's only four lines or whatever, and the same map is in every single station, but the bus system is out of control. And of course the city is not on a grid, right? It's not built like most American cities, not on a grid. It's, you got the roundabouts and this and that, and there's 5 points at a lot of points in this city and probably a lot of European cities, right?
Yeah.
And so looking at those bus maps, I'm like, it's kind of like it's kind of like a Rubik's cube. I have no idea. I have no idea. So City Mapper, that app City Mapper, is your best friend,
Is your best friend.
because if it weren't for that, we would not have figured out the bus routes that take us to the places that we frequent.
Right.
Right. And so thinking about that, thinking about the fact that um it, every single system that exists here, be it going to the doctor. I just had surgery last Tuesday, y'all know, and everything went well. So far so good. And but just dealing with that whole system and all of the tests that they require before you get the surgery, and the this and the that, and then you got to pull a number, but you don't pull a number for this kind, you got to go upstairs to pull a number for this kind, but if it's this, you pull a number here.
Yeah, and when the nurse comes out and calls you, and there's a room full of people,
And it's in Portuguese.
It's in Portuguese, and she ain't saying your name.
Mm-mm.
She's saying a number.
She's saying a number, and not like uno dos tres cuatro cinco. No, it's like 1 million. Right, because thousands is mil, right, in Spanish and Portuguese, right? So it's like 100352 or something is the number, right? Like, I'm just listening for the two, but there's somebody else who's got a two, y'all. You've got to think about, do you have the kind of personality that's going to be able to deal with not knowing, right?
Yeah.
To deal with, like, and Rick had to deal with it the first time by himself. I didn't go.
No, she didn't. She didn't go with me. I was like, oh Lord. But you work through it. Hey, I just walk up to somebody and say, did you call this number?
You figure it out. You figure it out. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Let me say hello to folks. Great topic. What terrified me while in Lisboa was when I became extremely ill. It impacted my mindset in a big way. Yeah, the OBU family was great. Oh, good. Offered to bring food, medicine, etc. Yeah, fear. Yeah, right. And so if you're single and you don't know the system in the country, it's one thing as a tourist. That's bad enough, right? It may be even worse. It may be even worse, right? Because what we suggest is that you get in community. So like CK said, she had a support system. She was in the meetup group. We put everybody in the meetup group, and there's like 70 people in the meetup group, plus me and Rick, plus the ambassadors that helped us, the volunteers that helped us, that live here. They were in the group too. So everyone is able to offer suggestions and things like that. And there's an expat WhatsApp group in probably every place that you want to live. Now, whether it's all Black or not is a different story. But and why is that important? Why is it important to get into an expat group, right? You trying to get away from Americans, you trying to get away from Canadians, you trying to get away from Brits, right? Because the people who live there have not immigrated there and they don't know the process. It's as simple as that, right? And what is true for a Spaniard or a Portuguese person and how they navigate the healthcare system is much different than someone who
Yeah.
doesn't have their national health number yet. Okay. Right. And they've always had their national health number, so they wouldn't even know, they wouldn't even necessarily think about asking you, do you have that, like if they were going to give suggestions on where to go
Right.
if you had a medical emergency.
Right.
Right.
And then here, if you call an ambulance or the fire department, whoever, EMS,
Mm-hmm.
they take you to the closest hospital.
Period.
They take you to the closest hospital.
Yeah.
And you don't know who speaks English and who speaks what.
Exactly. It's going to be what it's going to be. So, right, Vanessa? Good to see you in the chat. Bobby is in the
Hey,
chat.
Bobby.
Hey, Greta. Good to see you. Dr. Sanji. Now, all these people were chitty-chatting with us before we started because they're all members. They are all members. You see that marker right by their name, right? Oh, Jametta.
Hey, Jametta.
Jametta, were you there? I don't think we saw you today. I don't think we saw you. Hey,
I
Karen Louise.
Hey,
Good
Karen
to
Louise.
see you. The answer to your question for today is resounding no. The problem is we have to wake up and follow your inspiring lead before it's truly too late. That's true. I want folks to walk in with eyes wide open, right? Not to have like rose-colored glasses on,
Yeah.
right? But on the other hand, y'all, ain't our movements, our life does not get policed by other civilians who look Eurocentric here in Portugal. It does not get policed. Our actions don't get policed. Our whereabouts, where we sitting, what we buying, what we doing, where we driving, all that.
Yeah, where
nonsense.
You can be, where you can't be.
Right. Yeah. None of that gets policed by other civilians here. Ain't nobody paying attention. Don't nobody care. I could sit across the street on that park bench all day long, picking my nose, and no one would say a word unless they thought I needed help.
They might come offer a tissue.
Unless I needed help. So, hey, Valerina. Good to see you. Gwen and Derek is in the house.
Hey.
Abundance Now. Love that name. Deidre Hall and Amber. Cheryl, PhD, is in the house. Allison
Hey,
Rowe.
Allison.
Okay. I need help. Buenas tardes from Bogota. Yes. Is it hot there? Because you see, I am just sweating. But I'm not sure what your name is. PSCLE. Oh, LJ. Hey, LJ. Hey, Donna Rose. Hey, by Pacific Northwest. Hey, Doug. Good to see you. We got the other Greta Cobb is in the house, and Ms. Guru is in the house. New Life Curator is in the house. LaRonda, Housesitting retiree, is in the house. Hey, Sharon. Thrive with Shantae, Jazzy D, Yakota,
hey.
Good to see you. Nightingale 10, good to see you. Ashira, good to see you. Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Hola. And I've got to give a shout out to Allison for the super sticker. Y'all know that all money donated, and I know, okay, remind me because I've got some emails.
Gotten some, yeah.
I've got some emails.
I've seen some.
Yeah, I flagged them. So all 100% of the money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That's our financial freedom program for late bloomers. So thank you, Allison. And Dennis, thank you so much. Don't think it's a mistake to get away from this regime and the United Snakes of America. I've never heard that one before. That's clever. I like that. Another no RIP. I know.
Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
I know. I took a couple of classes with Malcolm Jamal Warner and some writing classes back in the day. He's good. He's a good guy. He was a good guy. Gracious and humble. So it kind of sucks. He was too young for that. Kind of sucks. Hey, Will Bro,
Bro,
channel
bro.
support travel is wonderful. Can't wait to retire and move abroad.
Come
Yes.
on, come on.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat or super sticker. And last but certainly not least,
Hey, Ruth.
hey, Ruth, thank you so much. I was about to say MW, Ruth MW. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So generous. All of you. So, so, so generous. And we appreciate it so much. Okay. How do I hide this? What did I do? I can't find it. There we go.
There it
All
is.
right.
I saw it.
I know that was a
So
trip.
I don't know if you said her name. Did you say Killer Queen?
Nope. I
I
haven't.
thought she was further up.
Okay. I didn't see her. If
So,
so, hey, Killer Queen.
hey, Killer Queen. Killer Queen. So, on my way to the movies,
Okay.
I swear I'm sitting on the metro. And I swear the lady said, I almost said something to her, and I said, I don't want to catch no case. She looked just like Killer Queen.
Oh, really?
Haircut, the works.
Are you here?
Had that kind of classy look about her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I was like,
are you here, Killer Queen? Are you here in
I'm sure
Lisboa?
if that was her, she would have said something to me
you.
because we
Yeah.
sat right across. And I was like, is that Killer Queen?
Hope to meet you all. Yeah, you guys, if you're coming to town, send us an email. Hello at ourblackutopia.com. Send us an email. And if we're in town, we'd love to get coffee or whatever. I think they need to hire more people. They do need to hire more people. They do need to hire more people. And they're trying to hire more people, but it's like, they can't keep up. They just get there. Didn't we read that they are 400,000 behind? 400,000 applications or something like that.
350,000, 400,000.
Something crazy. So let's just talk about dealing with immigration and bureaucracies in general, because especially when you're talking about Western Europe, y'all, everything is bureaucratic. I mean, there are just layers and layers and layers of things that have to be done. Even when it comes to like even just getting our SNS number, our national healthcare number, even doing that was like, okay, how do we do this? Right. First of all, again, it's in another language. We don't have a national healthcare number in the United States. So it's not like we have anything to draw upon.
Right.
Right. And so thankfully we had help. We had help because we tried to do it on our own and we couldn't. Yeah. And we were getting frustrated. And I was about to throw the computer.
Serenity helped us with that.
So yeah, so our medical concierge service, Serenity,
they took care of it.
They did it. They got it done. They got it done. Even the amount of paperwork that we had or questions that we had to answer to open up a bank account. Remember? So we did a video on this, y'all, 3 years ago. Because I can't remember right now all of the stuff that they asked us, but I felt like I was signing over my firstborn child.
Yeah, there was a lot of paperwork.
Right? It was a lot.
We experienced that. I don't know how other people experienced it, but
yeah, and that was at Millennium. So
and then you hear the thing of, well, they're not this bank is not taking a foreigners anymore. This, it's a back and forth. It's like a seesaw, because we say, well, never happened to us. This didn't happen to us this way. This didn't happen to us this way. But other people experience different things. So
yeah. And the rumors that get started. So some folks that we know are at like Caixa Geral. Some folks that we know are at Novo Banco. So a lot of people are at Millennium.
What is it?
Caixa. Yeah.
Caixa.
I mean, which basically that's a weird name,
right?
I mean, it's kind of like naming a cat, but and then some people are with Santander as well, and I haven't heard extremely bad things about any of them, nor have I heard great things about any of them. Locals seem to like Caixa Geral because they have less fees, is what I've been told. Thank you, Meriton. Thank you. Yeah, it was a success. They're still, they did send some stuff for testing. So it's going to be negative, right, y'all? It's going to be negative. We're just going to put it out there. It's going to be negative. So yeah, thank you, One Source. We really appreciate it. Okay, I'm marking these questions. All right, so we talked about number one and number two. Number one, expat life is not a vacation, and so there's something else that I wanted to say with that, sweetheart, that I forgot to mention, and that is like you're gonna get bored, so you need to you need to have a plan on what you are going to do to occupy your time. Yes, there will be rest time. And yes, maybe for the first year, it's just like, I'm tired. I'm going to sit on this couch. I'm going to walk around the block and then I'm going to sit at the beach and then I'm going to sit on this couch. And maybe that's all you do. But it's going to get old.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get old. So whether it's travel is your thing, make sure that your budget reflects that and that you got the money in there that you can travel enough. Like I'm already getting the bug again. It's like, okay, we got to go somewhere. It's time to go. Right, if that's your thing, if you want to start doing your hobbies and maybe dance classes or learn pottery or this or that or whatever the thing is, make sure that you are that what you want to do exists in your new home, in your new
Mm-hmm.
place, right? And that you've planned for it. Museums and cafes and mai tais on the beach get old. It gets old. Now, I mean, even our friends who don't have side hustles, they have like hobbies that they do, right? Play pickleball, they do plays, so they have rehearsals, right?
They
There's
volunteer for stuff.
they volunteer for
Mm-hmm.
things, right? We have what's the big thing that comes here? Web Summit or something like
Web
that.
Summit.
And a lot of people volunteer for that one because the tickets are expensive. So that way you get to see it for free if you volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
But and then it's something to do and you learn some stuff and meet some people, et cetera, et cetera. But like living in Portugal is not like being on perpetual vacation. It is not. We do live in a place where people vacation, but trying to get to the pharmacy before they close and doing stuff like that and all, yeah, that ain't vacation. It's not vacation. So number one, expat life is not vacation. Number two, dealing with immigration and bureaucracies can be challenging. Number three, and this is really, really important now that the melon felon is back in. See, we could have had a reprieve, but 98 million people sat at home and didn't want to do it.
Yeah, dealing with conversion rates.
Right, dealing with these conversion rates, y'all.
And taxes. And protecting your money.
Money, right? So conversion rates, let's start there. It doesn't matter, the dollar has rarely been stronger than the euro since we've been here. So we moved here understanding that the dollar was weaker than the euro. Had we moved to Mexico, where we have permanent residency, where the dollar was stronger than the peso, and then the peso got stronger, and what was 20-1 went down to like 16-1 and 15-1 and stuff like that for periods of time. You start to feel that. And even if you are in Thailand, where the dollar is much stronger than the baht, right? And I don't know, I can't remember what the conversion rate is, y'all. But let's just say it's $5 to 100 baht. And now all of a sudden it's $7 to 100 baht. Right? That like you start to feel that. Now all of a sudden, instead of your rent being, $500, now maybe it's like $550, maybe it's $600. And that has nothing to do with your rent increasing by your landlord.
No.
They don't care that the dollar's weaker. That's a you problem, not a them problem. Right? Right? And so, you do the math. When we moved here, it was €1. €1 equaled $1.02. No. Yeah. Wait. Or 98 cents. Am I getting it wrong?
More like 98 cents.
I'm getting it backwards, right? All right. Yeah. So yeah, it only cost us 98 cents to buy a euro. Great, right? Um, or $1 gets you $1 to euro.
Hmm.
Okay, however you want to look at it. So it was great. We should have transferred a bunch of money at that time. Y'all have heard us say that. We should have transferred a bunch of
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
We're like, oh, it'll do.
It'll be okay. It's going to change.
Right? Yeah,
It'll
maybe
go in
it'll
the
get
right
better. Yeah, maybe
direction.
it'll get better, right? In our favor, right? It didn't. It never did. It never got back up there. But it hovered between
Mm.
like 99 and 94 cents to the euro for the first year that we were here. So almost parity. Like it hovered around 99 to 97 cents actually for a long
Right. Yeah, it
time.
was there for a long time.
So much so that I was just transferring once a quarter, whatever. Cuz it's almost parity. It's no big deal. But now, like last I checked it was 84 cents.
Yeah, I don't have my phone with me, but
84 cents to the
I think it was a
euro.
little bit higher. I think it was higher than
Did it go
84
up?
cents.
Because last
I
time I
thought it
checked,
was
it was
like
84.
87 cents or something.
Mhm. Well, that's I don't know. Y'all tell us
Yeah, I don't have my phone with me,
because
so I
I,
can't
I
say
haven't checked in a
conversion.
few days, but the last time I checked a few days ago, it was 84 cents, y'all. That's 16% of our wealth just boom, gone if we were to like move it all over into euros. So think about that when you are considering your life abroad, because look, it's just like when you buy a house. When Rick and I bought our first house together, what's the conventional wisdom? Don't spend any more than 33% of your
33% of
income,
your
of your
income.
of your to me it's your take home pay, not your gross. What you get in your paws, right? To me, that's how I always looked at it. So 33% of your take home. Our mortgage was 19% of our take home. And we did that purposefully or purposely because we wanted to be able to afford it if either one of us got laid
Laid
off,
off.
right? And then the market crashed because we bought our house before the 2008 crash. The
Mm.
market crashed and all this and that and the other. And thankfully, we were never more than like $1,000, $2,000 upside down, because some people, it was crazy. So why am I bringing that up? The same is true for when you are living abroad. You don't want to, if you can afford $2,000 worth of rent, don't rent for 2,000,
No.
because you don't know what the currency is going to do in the future. Give yourself some wiggle room. Set yourself up for success. So if you can afford 2,000, I would stick to around 17 to 1,800.
I was going to say 15 to 18.
See, he's even more conservative, right? Because unless a miracle happens, the dollar is going to continue to tank. It's going to continue to tank. And just to let y'all know, I believe back in 2000, between 2008 and 2010, it was 65 cents to the euro. 45% of wealth just gone, just gone. So, so don't rent too much apartment, right? Just like you don't want to buy too much house, don't rent too much apartment,
Mm.
right? Don't rent too much house. Don't live right on the edge when you are dealing with these conversion rates, and you're on the dollar, and your money is your income is in the dollar, right? Taxes. Make sure that you're moving to a place that's got a tax treaty.
Yeah, please do. But anymore with the
Melon felon.
evilness in on Pennsylvania Avenue. I'll put it like that.
I'm calling him melon
I'm calling, well, I call him the turd, but
felon. So I mean, look, chances are the dollar's going to keep going down. chances are he's going to piss more people off. And if he pisses more people off, some of these tax treaties may not stand. Not only that, the United States requires so much information on their people. Countries and banks might just say, you know what, I don't feel like dealing with Americans no more.
Yeah.
It's just too much. It's just too much. Right. And so that's another thing. Now, see, here in Portugal, the United States does have a tax treaty with Portugal. What does that mean? That means that we should not be double taxed. So let's just say our total tax liability is $2,000, $2,000 here. And then our tax liability in the United States is 1,800. Let's just say, right? So we file our taxes in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to say, well, you owe 2,000 to you owe 2,000 to Portugal, so you don't owe us anything. Now, if our tax liability was 2,500 in the United States and 2,000 here, they would ask us for 500. The United States would ask us for 500. They say, okay, you paid the 2,000 to Portugal, but you haven't paid any taxes on this part, so you won't have to pay that 500 to us. That's how that works. That's how you're not supposed to get double taxed. Okay. And then the other part that you need to consider is protecting your money when you don't live in the country. We don't have all the answers for this because I am concerned about him ordering the closure of bank accounts and stuff like that. This is where my mind goes.
Yeah, yours and a whole lot of other people.
Right? This is where my mind goes. And so that's part of it. Then the other part of it is what are you investing in? Can we count on the U.S. stock market to continue doing what it's been doing? Can we count on U.S. companies to continue doing what they're doing? Or should we have even more diversity in our portfolio? I'm thinking more diversity in our portfolio. And we've already started doing that. Investing in companies, ETFs, and funds that are international, whether they're BRICS and of the global South, or just international in general. We've already started doing that because I don't see how they're going to be able to hang on. And then the third thing is, and this came up when we were on the call, one of the client call. We do one-on-one client calls, y'all. So if you have any more questions, if when we get done with this, you still have questions, we do one-on-one coaching. Mm-hmm. And that is putting a freeze on your credit. Okay.
I saw a lot of people were doing that last time we talked about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were responding in the comments saying that they were
doing
just
that. Okay, good. Because that, especially when you don't live in the country, right? And you may be getting some stuff sent in to your old address and things like that. That's one of the ways that people's identities get stolen. So Rick and I went to all 3 credit bureaus and we froze our accounts. Now we've talked about this before, but there's always somebody new listening. So we got to repeat it. We froze our accounts.
Freeze your accounts.
And then I turned around and I froze my mom's and my dad's. And if you've got seniors that are susceptible to scams, y'all, if you got parents or grandparents that are susceptible to scams, if they're a little slower than they were before, you might suggest to them that you help them freeze their credit. That way, if they ever accidentally give the wrong person their information, that person should not be able to open up an account in anybody's name with that social security number.
Mm-hmm. Some people call it a freeze, some people call it a hold. But when you do that, you have to do it with all 3 credit bureaus.
Yeah.
You have to do it with all 3.
And I'm sure in Canada, they might have something similar. I don't know how it works in the UK. I know, credit scores and stuff like that are not as important in other countries. But we know that how important they are in the United States and how somebody can use all of that to just really, cause havoc. So definitely do that. And so what all that also means that you will not be getting those offers for credit cards. So whatever credit card you want, any travel credit card, right, that you're going to pay off 100% at the end of the month, or if you are, doing that other program that we talked about, how you can pay off your credit cards with zero cash flow. Maybe we'll put that here or here. Um, then you'll want to get those credit cards before you freeze your credit. So as I told you
Yeah, and
guys
you can
before,
always turn it back on.
yeah,
You
you
can
can,
turn it back on, apply what you need, and once that goes through, then you can turn it back off.
yeah, and it happens instantaneously, you
Yeah.
guys. Because I told y'all when I went to put my name on my dad's bank account, they couldn't put it on because I had my credit frozen. So I had to go onto my phone, unfreeze the credit, and they were able to do it, and then I froze it back. So yeah, it happens instantaneous, and it's so worth it. All right. So number one was expat life is not a vacation. Number two is dealing with immigration and bureaucracies. Number three is the money stuff, y'all. Dealing with conversion rates, taxes, and protecting your money. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about, and then we'll get to number four and number five. I'm going to try to mark the rest of these. So, 85 cents today. See?
Okay.
See? Look, y'all. It is no joke. And so, what did we do? Why aren't we panicked? Why aren't we stressed out about it? Because for two reasons. One, we charge in euros. We charge in euros because our bills are in euros. So that's number one. The other thing is that we went ahead and moved
money over
1 year's worth of living expenses when it was still in the 90s, like 95, 96 cents. We moved a bunch of money. So, okay, I think I've got them all. All right, let's answer these really fast. Okay, thanks again to all of our super chat and super thanks money. And it looks like we got a new one. Johnny, for your education fund. Thank you
thank you,
so
Johnny.
much. Again, if you're just tuning in, then you might not know all of our super sticker, super chat, super thanks money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That's our financial freedom program for late bloomers like ourselves.
Also, I wanted to say on the freeze your credit thing is we don't mean cancel credit cards.
No,
that's not freezing. That dings you. That gives you a bad mark on your credit. You don't want to cancel credit cards. I mean, if anything, just don't use them. But you never want to cancel a credit card.
Exactly. They will cancel you.
Yeah, if you don't use it after a certain amount of time,
they'll cancel you.
And especially if it's paid off and you're not using it, like when you get a bank card and it really doesn't do anything, what it gives you 1% or 3%, cash back or something like that, and you're not really using it for anything. I just pretty much let them cancel my credit card.
And they do.
Yeah, they will.
They call us deadbeats because
after a couple of years,
because we pay it 100% off. Yeah. I know when I had to charge everything for our meetup, our credit card got up to like 7,000 or something like that. I bet you, whoever was looking at that, they were probably like, or with the algorithm, the AI or whatever, is like, ooh, we got them. No.
Yeah,
that thing went down to zero. It went down to zero. You ain't catching me out there like that. No, ma'am, no, sir. Greta Cobb, just like with the subscribers, I am calling the invisible forth. You both are residents. Yes. And you have 100,000 subscribers. I received that.
Thank you, Greta. Thank you,
Believing in that assumption, and it is done. Yes, ma'am. I received that. Is there a best time of year to go to Portugal? I was looking for August tickets to Mexico, and Portugal flights were the same price. Dang, really? It costs the same amount for you to go to Mexico as it does to fly here? Huh.
Try, I don't know if you've tried it, but try using a VPN and switching it to a foreign country.
Yeah, that would be interesting to
and
see.
purchasing tickets.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Because sometimes that changes the price. If you're coming from the United States and you're buying airline tickets and stuff like that, they charge you a lot more money than if you are buying tickets through a VPN out of Portugal or whatever.
Yeah, try it.
You might get a
A little.
not a little. I'm not
Sometimes,
going to say it's
sometimes,
going to be
sometimes not.
half off, but
Yeah, but either way it goes. So the thing about Europe in August in Europe is that Europe basically it doesn't close down in August, but a lot of the mom and pop shops close. Most of the Portuguese mom and pop shops close in August, and as a matter of fact, this might have been the last weekend that the cafe and our fruitateria was open. This might be the this might I know they probably won't be open next weekend. I'll be interested to see if they're open tomorrow. Um, because
yeah,
last year they by end of July they were gone, didn't come back till September.
I think the coffee shop might because they took that time off,
Maybe.
that short time off
Yeah,
for
maybe.
their family
Maybe.
thing.
Does that mean don't come in August?
Mm.
No. We've had friends, we've got family visiting in August. It's hot, same with Mexico, it's gonna be hot. Um, and it depends on why you are visiting, okay? And so if you are scouting, if you are thinking about moving here, and weather is important to you, I would come during the worst weather.
Come during the winter.
So, well, it depends on maybe you love cold. If you love cold, come during August. If you love heat, come during December, January, February.
You got that.
Right? What?
Well, if you want heat, August is heat.
Right. If you like heat, then the worst month will be December for you, right?
Well,
so you want to see if you can handle the worst month. If heat is what you love,
August.
The coldest month would be your worst month, and that's what you'd want to do. If you're just coming to vacation, I would just avoid rainy season.
Yeah,
just the winter.
June, July-ish are usually very, very busy with tourists.
Oh, yeah. I would say the best time is September, October, because it's cooling off, but it's still warm.
It's still warm.
And the beaches are the warmest. The water's the warmest because it's had all summer long to warm up. So, yeah. My friend had her IMA appointment rescheduled for October. Yep, this is the second person we've heard. When she went, it was for May. This is the third person then, unless you're talking about the same person we're talking about. This is the third. Her wife's appointment was also in May and went just fine.
Yeah.
Y'all, you just have to exercise patience.
Yeah, you do.
And remember why you're here. You got to sometimes you're going to have to pull out that why did I do this? I know every time I turn on YouTube and I see somebody else getting snatched up off the street and they're snatching babies and people holding on to trees while they're just pulling women and stuff, and masked men. We don't know who these men are. They could be kidnapping them. They could be sex trafficking them for all we know. We have no idea what they're doing with these people. Then putting up with an IMA appointment doesn't seem that big of a deal.
Yeah. Right? And it's so funny because here they give you an appointment. Your appointment may not be in Lisbon.
Yeah, that part too.
It might be in Porto.
That part too.
Or it might be, hopefully not Fargo.
Yeah. You never know.
You don't know where it's going to be.
So especially that initial one. I haven't necessarily heard about renewals being in
a different city.
Different cities.
I've heard of it.
So since IMA?
Yes.
Because we were told we had to go to the one nearest us. Otherwise, we go to Braga or Coimbra or something like that, where we figure there'll be less people. Shoot, I don't need to do it here. We can take a little
trip. Take a trip.
We can take a little trip, but we were told that we have. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you'll hear different
This is what
things.
I'm talking about. The immigration people told us that, not this is what the chatter is on the Facebook group. No, this is the immigration person said that we had to go to the one in our area that's closest to us. right? So Justice says, yes, community is key, very different from the nuclear family culture many of us grew up in. Yep, it takes
Takes
a
a
village.
village.
It does. And here's the thing. We've always, like our communities, Black communities, we've always known it takes a village, right? We've always operated. We were never into that rugged individualism bull corn, right? Somebody needed rent, we had a rent party, right? Something was happening, so wife went in, husband went into the hospital or whatever have you, so we bring over casseroles. That's what we did. That's what we do, right? So it is no surprise that the culture of America goes against our spirit, because we're not that type of person, right? We're not those type of people. We are community oriented people, and we want to look out for one another. Pursue a spiritual life at Kadampa Meditation Center,
Yeah.
Portugal.
Hmm.
Let's see, where is that, Doug? Where is that? Is that here in Lisbon? What is required to maintain permanent residency in Mexico?
Once you get it,
Not getting into financial
yeah.
trouble, not getting into
Financial
legal
trouble, legal
trouble,
trouble.
right? Yeah, staying under the radar, right? And just doing life.
I
Yeah.
mean, you probably don't want to go out and protest against the government.
It's against the law in Mexico. Only citizens are allowed to protest. Okay. Well, protesting looks like it's going to be illegal in the United States too. But yeah, so Mexico is one of those partially free countries. Okay. So citizens can protest all they want, and they protest a lot, according to Adelia and Rashida. They protest a lot, at least in Mexico City. But yeah, residents cannot protest, y'all. Don't get out in them international streets not knowing the rules and thinking like an American. Don't do it. Don't do it. Plus, we don't understand the issues enough to be doing anything, right? We may think we do. We may think we do, because we know when people are being treated unfairly, but we might not understand the whole situation. So it's best to just, with your Portuguese friends or with your Mexican friends, that's one thing, to support whatever it is their gripe with their government, right? But we are guests in these people's houses, right? And every place does not work like the United States. Now, anybody can protest in the United States before the melon felon came in, right? Anybody could protest. But that's not necessarily the case in other places. And the America exports its crap to so many places. A lot more people are aware of what's going on politically in America than vice versa. That part too is true, right? We're talking to a financial advisor at least for the next year until we get settled and get a feel for the taxes and stuff. Once I get my plan in place, I'm good. Yeah. We recommend that you talk to a tax person before you leave.
Mhm.
If you are required to become a tax resident, like right now, one of the protests in Mexico is that residents are not tax residents. And so, you can live in Mexico
Mhm.
and not pay
Like
into the
tax,
system
right?
besides sales tax, right? But not pay any kind of income tax or anything like that. That's one of their gripes. I say, it's legitimate. But yeah, talk to a tax person. If you're going to a place where you have to become a tax resident, talk to them before you go so you understand what the ramifications are, and understand that they're not going to have all of the answers, but should be able to give you some parameters. Um, Here, people say, yeah, Western Europe, they've got a 40% tax rate. The tax rate here is progressive. It is progressive, and there's write-offs. So they don't have the same kind of income inequality here that they do in the United States. They don't have a bunch of billionaires, because it's not necessary. There was a young lady who moved to Bangkok and didn't know how the exchange rates worked. Oh my Lord. She ended up moving back to the US. They were not financially ready to move to begin with.
Oh, yeah. That's
Y'all, don't be caught out here in these international streets asking about no food bank or Section 8 housing. What you think? And here's the thing about Bangkok, it is so affordable.
It's
It is
really
so
affordable.
affordable. You can get a nice apartment in Bangkok for like $600 a month. But like, but I see these kids out here talking about $200 and $300 a month, and then they get caught out there.
Yeah.
And then they get caught out there.
Yep.
Rick and I saved 2 years living expenses prior to moving. Now, are we saying that everybody needs to save that much? Not necessarily. Why did we save that amount? For several reasons. One, because we were going from two incomes to living on two incomes down to one Social Security check. That was one of the reasons. The second reason was, if we found that some emergency happened and that we needed to dip into, savings or whatever, and let's just say our 401ks, our IRAs, etc., right? And the stock market happened to be down at that moment in time, we wanted enough money set aside so that we wouldn't have to sell low.
Right.
We wouldn't have to sell our stock in unfavorable conditions. We could just pull from our savings account and leave our investments alone. So that's another reason. So you've got to look at your own situation and see, how much is enough for you to feel comfortable. But we strongly suggest no less than 6 months living expenses.
Yes.
Okay, no less. People be out there, caught out there. And when you think we joking when we're talking about food banks and stuff, we have heard the stories. We have heard the stories, y'all. It's not funny.
No, it's not.
It's not funny. And I'll never forget that couple. We were talking about them about 4 or 5 months ago. That couple in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
He had a good post office job, I think. Didn't he work at the post office or something? They get those good pensions and all that stuff. And they didn't.
I don't think he's been working there that long now.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We know that the post office pays well, especially for what they require initially, right? And they thought they were just going to be some YouTube sensations, didn't have money saved, and they weren't growing at the clip that they thought they were going to. And it takes a while, a year to start making, over 1,000 per month, unless you've got one of those kind of channels that just is going to take off, right? And they're out there, right. And you might just be one of those people. But by and large, I wouldn't plan for that, right? They were trying to plan for that, and ended up having to take their happy behinds back home.
I think they were upset because they felt YouTube was taking more than they deserved.
Oh, did they say that?
Yeah.
As a person who worked in the entertainment industry, I'm going to tell you, there does not exist a content creator on traditional media. And by content creator, I mean television producer. That's what they are, right? A content creator, where that production company is getting 51% of the take. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So they were living in la la land, right? They were living in la la land. All right. What is the app that gives the alerts for when the conversion rate changes?
I think the one I have is called XE. For just, you can go to the App Store or Google Play Store or whatever and just put in conversion rates, and it gives you all kind of apps.
So you use XE. If there's anybody in the chat,
I don't have my phone in here. I can look at it.
If there's anybody in the chat who uses something, let Isan1 know. If you're watching from the future, hey, let us know where you're logging into. Say hello, and let us know. Are you paying attention to the conversion rates? Are you paying attention to the fledgling dollar value of the dollar? And is there an app that you use?
And that XE app, it constantly refreshes itself.
Yeah, we did not sell our homes when we moved, Benita. We kept both the home in Denver and the condo in LA. And I'm not sure yet whether I regret it. Some days I do, some days I don't. I'll let you know. Another creator left Bangkok and moved to Vietnam because their Bangkok rent increased by $18 due to the exchange rate.
Yeah.
$18? $18, y'all. Don't be out here in these streets $20 away from a tragedy. But you had the money to move to Vietnam. You had the money for first and last month's rent or whatever, and the airfare to Vietnam. But you didn't want to pay an extra, what's 2 times 12, $240 a year. Your airfare probably cost that to Vietnam. And I think the food is better in Bangkok. I think I've heard people say that. But of course, that is subjective. The food in Bangkok's off the chain, y'all. The food in Bangkok, oh my God. I would be as fat as a cow. That food good? And it didn't really matter what you ordered. You could just order anything, and it was all good.
Yeah. It was.
They just know how to season. And it didn't matter if it was a hamburger or some of their traditional food and anything in between. That food was good, y'all. You guys got to go to Thailand just to eat. Just to eat.
Just stay away from the border of Thailand and Cambodia.
Oh yeah, that is getting a little crazy. But do a food tour. Because they'll take you to the places you might not be bold enough to go on your own. But ooh, Lord, that food was good. When I'm looking at my budget in euro, the exchange rate is top of mind. Good. I can transfer funds in chunks. Yep. But the rate won't necessarily be the same or better the next time. No, not necessarily. I mean, when we transferred the year's worth, I already saw the writing on the wall with what Trump was doing with them damn tariffs. So I knew that it was only going to get worse before it got better. I knew, right? And so this time next year, will we be still at 84 cents? Maybe. So that, but at least we got 1 year at a decent rate. At least we got 1 year. Hey, Bonita, who does your taxes? If you want to send me an email, I can give you that information. I don't want to say it on air. Okay. So, and let me know if you're talking about for America.
I was going to say America or here, because we have a tax accountant in America and a tax accountant here.
Yeah. And you need to have a tax person in your home country. If your home country requires you to continue to file, regardless of whether you have been living in that country, America requires you to file. So if you're an American, you need an American tax person, and you need a person in your new home country. Okay. Hey, Angela, new member.
Welcome.
Yes. So you'll want to check the posts in YouTube, and that will show you that will give you the links to our Zoom for our chitty chat with our members before. And if you are a legend, then that will also give you the link to the green room, to backstage. What time was that? All right, 9:26. All right, let's get to number 4 and number 5. Okay, so number 1 was expat life is not a vacation. Number 2 is
dealing with immigration and bureaucracies.
Number 3, dealing with the conversion rates, taxes, protecting your money.
Number 4,
your money. Number 4,
dealing with everything being in another language. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Y'all, it's no joke. And it's interesting because my sister was here from South Africa about 3 weeks ago now, I think. Okay. And so, she's American, obviously, has been living in South Africa for the majority of her life. But English is one of the official languages of South Africa. And so the stupid airlines lost her luggage. So she's an independent woman. So she took herself on to the mall to get some clothes so she could have something to wear. And that was her first, that's when she first noticed that, oh, wow, everything's in Portuguese. Everything is in Portuguese.
Yeah.
There is no English around here. And that was a wake up call for her, and I suppose she does have to travel for a job, but she travels to a lot of other African countries, and I know a lot of other African countries also have English as one of their official languages. So she might has obviously not had to deal with this to this extent. It is no joke, y'all. In Mexico, I had to pull out that Spanish. I had to pull out that Spanish. Everything is in Spanish. And to think that somebody's going to understand English, Americans are real fast to say, "Can't you speak
Yeah.
American?"
Speak English. Speak American.
Right? I never said that.
No.
I always
It's
thought
just
I always thought it was interesting though to meet like somebody's mom or abuela, and they'd been in the United States for like 20 years and still barely spoke English. And I was like, how can you do that? Like, how does that happen? How can you live in a place where there's English all around you, where there's a language all around you, and you've been here for 20 years and you still can barely speak? I understand it now, y'all. I understand it, right? Because I could see us being here for 20 years if it wasn't required that we learn, and could barely just order some food and say thank you.
mhm. Yeah, it could.
It's possible. Like, I can see how it can happen if you're only hanging out with people who speak your language, right? If we only hung out with expats, if we never tried to speak Portuguese, we went in the store and just kept quiet and just did what we knew to do, to buy the stuff and whatnot. I understand. But that's kind of a colonizing, right? That's kind of a colonizing attitude, not to learn the language. Now, I'm not saying that for Spanish speakers who go to America, because you have to have a little bit more power to have a colonizing mindset, and Americans have a little bit more power, or it is assumed that we do. It is assumed that we have more money, right? It ain't always true, but they assume that, right? And so I don't want to walk the earth the way colonizers walk the earth. So to me, it is incumbent upon me to learn the doggone language and not to assume that they should speak English. The only time I don't play is when I'm talking to doctors. It's like, oh, we ain't gonna play. I need to understand every single thing that you're saying. I need to understand every single thing that you're saying. But other than that, we understand how important that is. But other than that, I'm going to do my best to speak their language, and it doesn't matter. I know I butcher it half the time, but I'm trying, and we will continue to try. You've got to be willing to learn the language. And so for those of you who are thinking about moving to countries where their characters, their letters are in a different script,
Mm.
do they also write in our script? Because if not, that's going to make it even more difficult to learn the language, right? And so these are the things that you got to think about. And it is not fun. What did we buy? Oh, the air fryer. Everything was nothing was in English. That's for damn sure. They probably had Spanish on there. They probably had a Spanish version and maybe even a French
What in the book?
in the little booklet.
They had English.
Did they have English? Okay, because most of the time they don't. They don't have English.
I mean, it's short and sweet, but they had English. They had all the different languages. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Everything's in Celsius,
yes.
right? When I'm looking at recipes, all my measuring things and things like that are in grams and milliliters and all of that, not cups and tablespoons.
Mm-mm.
These are the things that like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal until you're just having one of those days. And you just don't want to friggin' translate in your head. You just don't want to do it. You just can I
Just call it hot and leave it
right.
alone.
I just want to just not think right now. But you don't really get that when you're dealing with life in another language,
Yeah.
and you really don't know that language very well.
Even the days of the week.
Yeah, even the days of the week, right? The days of the week here are a little bit more like Catalan. It's weird. So not like French, not like Spanish. It's not like Italian. So, These are the things. These are the things.
Yeah.
Um, Figuring out how to work the oven, figuring out how to work the dishwasher and the washing machine, and he was still putting the soap in the wrong doggone place.
Hey, I figured it was going to all follow where it was supposed to go sooner or later.
That's why his stuff wasn't clean. That's why his stuff wasn't
Yeah,
clean.
my stuff was
That's
clean.
why your stuff wasn't clean. But seriously, you have to be willing to relearn all of this stuff, and sometimes I just don't
Yeah.
feel like doing it. Okay. So that's number 4, dealing with everything being in another language. And the last but certainly not least, and we've been seeing this, and we'll probably see more of this as the melon felon continues to do what he's doing, and as more
Pissing
people,
people off.
right, pissing people off, and as more people decide they gotta go. So number 5 is dealing with knowing that there's a certain segment that does not want you in their country. There's a certain segment here.
Mm-hmm.
I have been told by our some, I'm not going to say who, but by some Portuguese folks, that it is not us that the their version of MAGA doesn't like, but that it is the Southeast Asians. Either way, it's racist. Either way, it's racist. Again, the assumption is that we have money and that the Southeast Asians don't. I have no idea what is true and what is not. But I do know that just like in America, just like in Mexico, just like in Spain, and I'm sure if we did a Google search, we'd find some other countries. There is a segment, UK as well, France as well. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
that, right? There is a segment of the population that would be happier if they had no immigration,
Oh, yeah.
even though their country was aging out. Even though their country was aging out,
And they depend on it.
right?
They depend on those immigration dollars. They depend on those youthful workers.
Yes, they do. They really do, and they need it. But the average person, just like the average person in America, does not understand how the system works. They don't understand how macro and microeconomics works. They don't understand how legislation affects their daily life, right?
So all they do is listen to the blamers.
They look for somebody to blame. And it's
And
the same everywhere. It's so damn predictable. It is so damn predictable. In Mexico, those protesters were pissed off about America. It's not Americans. Americans don't own anything in Mexico, so how can they be raising the rent? Right? Here, yeah, obviously, if more people move to a place, it's going to put a strain on inventory. But why aren't the folks here more upset about the amount of empty buildings, the amount of abandoned buildings that there are in this city, in this country, but especially in this city, right? They are everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And I don't really hear the kind of passion about that I've heard from those few about the immigration situation
mm-hmm.
and the housing prices, right? And so it's like, yes, there's a problem. The rent is too damn high. But I'm thinking that they're probably blaming the wrong people. They're probably blaming the wrong people. And that's what they do. Like the rich and the powerful always get the rest of us to blame the wrong people.
They got the loudest megaphones.
Right? They always get us to blame the wrong people. And so, how would you feel? How would you feel if you were in Mexico City and you saw signs like Americans go home? Because it could happen. Or immigrants go home.
Mm-hmm.
or you're in the WhatsApp group and somebody passes around an Instagram or a TikTok or something of some local, shouting some Karen-ish type stuff, right? This is a reality. This is a reality. And even with all of that, if I never had to go back to the United States for the rest of my life, I wouldn't. Like if my family wasn't there, I would never go. If we didn't have assets, I would never go back. I would never go back. What about you?
Do you have to ask that question? I'm still trying to work up the not the nerve, the gumption, I guess,
What? The go back in September?
for the little short period that we're going back.
Y'all, we gonna touch down. 2 days later, we out. Literally, we're gonna spend 2 days, and hopefully, I can get my mom to go onto this little cruise with me, so then I can spend that time with her, then drop her back off, and we outie. We are outie because I ain't getting snatched up off the street. Right? Love being a deadbeat when it comes to paying off debt, right? For those who are just tuning in, y'all, that's what they call people like us who pay off our credit cards 100% at the end of each month. They call us deadbeats.
Deadbeat.
Y'all.
Because they ain't making no money off you.
Interesting, Carlos. If you're thinking about moving to Portugal for the first year, I recommend smaller towns or cities, lower rents, lower cost of living. Yep. And then that first year, you can use it to decide where you want to live, or or the suburbs of Lisbon, y'all. Right? Like we've got friends who live in Seixal, Almada, right? Even as far up as Mafra and places like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. All right. We're going to answer these last questions and we're going to let you go. So y'all know the deal. The Q in front of your question or comment. Old timers, no. 75% to infinity. That's a cool name. All right, LaRonda, I see you. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to mark these, and it's hard for me to talk and read at the same time. No Karen. No Karen. No Karens, y'all. No Karens. Look, there's Karens everywhere, of course. But we have not personally had to experience it.
We experienced one.
Who?
The one time over in Saldana when we sat down and she wasn't fussing at us. She was fussing at the little French kid.
We didn't have to experience it personally.
Yeah, she was friends with Halisi.
XE gives an alert. Okay, good. Yes. Like she was talking to me like no problem. And I think she thought I was Black Portuguese. That's what I think she thought.
And she was drunk too.
Yeah, she was lit. She was lit. She was litty. Litty. So yeah. But yeah, she wasn't. She was talking about unfortunately Brazilians and French people. That's who she was pissed off at that particular time. So, but there's always going to be one or two people, right? There's always going to be one or two people that's going to try to act like a butthole. But all right, y'all. I think I got them all. And we're going to go through these really, really fast. And we're going to start with the members. Okay, so let's go. Americans won't understand the cultural, social, political, and historical nuances of protests in other countries. Exactly. That's why I think it's really important to sit on the sidelines, right?
Yeah, check it out.
Cheer them on. Just
check it out.
Cheer them on quietly, right? But yeah, there's a deep history here that is very nuanced, right? And so the same is true in Mexico. Anyway, part one. Part one. Okay, I'm gonna part one and part two. I'm gonna say part one and part two. Okay, I'm gonna say those two to go together. There is a false expectation that folks will be ballers outside the USA. I'm gonna go to Thailand. I'm gonna be living like I'm gonna be having me a personal cook. I'm gonna be having me a live-in maid. I'm gonna be balling, boys.
By the time you turn around and look at it, you be broke.
Balling broke, right? Doug says an hour drive northwest from Lisbon is
Meditation.
the meditation temple
Okay.
called Kadampa. Northwest. Okay, interesting.
Oh.
Check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right. We're always looking for cool new places to check out. So yeah, definitely. I follow the exchange rate with Wise and XE. Okay.
So good.
Okay. Yeah. Did you hear? The Orange Man wants to add a 3.5% tax on transferring money internationally. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, I think. But there's a caveat to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what
it wasn't as much on Americans as it was on
folks wanting to transfer money
from
out,
India.
Right? To transfer to India, to transfer to Honduras,
Right.
to transfer to Venezuela or something like that. After getting the immigration card, can I move to short-term housing to save money? House sitting, hostels, Airbnb. Well, I don't know if Airbnb would be saving you money, but house sitting definitely would. Yeah, you could. But you're going to have to show a lease when you go to for renewal. That's the thing. And so, Isan, what I found is that a couple of things. One, that first year is just going to be expensive. Okay. And that's why Carlos is saying what he's saying. Our rent went down. That's number one. Number two, in general, Portuguese folks, especially outside of the tourist area, they'd sign you to a 10-year lease if you would let them. Okay. And so once you sign a lease, the law is here that they can only raise your rent by the amount of inflation. I'm putting it in layman's terms. There's a particular law. I can't remember what it's called because we had to look it up because I'm like, what is this? What they talking about here in this lease? Right. So we looked it up and basically it reads like the government will decide what the inflation rate is based upon, what the inflation rate is, and then tell landlords how much they are allowed to raise the rent by. Okay. And so that's how it works here in Portugal. It's kind of like nationwide rent control. So once you get into a lease, they can only raise it so much. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people that I know, the landlord never raises their rent. Now I know a couple people that the landlord went haywire
and got stupid
and they moved, right, and lost that good tenant who was always paying their rent on time and taking care of their place, right? But our landlord hasn't raised our rent, and we appreciate it, especially with the exchange rate. We really appreciate it. So it might not be in your best interest, someone to not sign a lease or to get out of it, because by law you only have to fulfill a third of it. But maybe not. Maybe in the long run you'll end up paying more. Oh my God, there were days in Lisboa where I was too tired to translate menus right off the apps, right? I bought groceries instead and just returned to my Airbnb to cook. I get it. I mean, now we're at the place now that when I'm reading food, sometimes I don't even realize that I'm not reading English. That's how recognizable the words are to me now. So, so the food part, we're pretty good, unless it's something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know our foods. We know our few foods. My mom said, "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." Exactly, right? Learn the language. Not learning Portuguese is one of the main Chega complaints, at least in the media. They're full of it. Because you have to at least be up to an A2.
Right.
And I believe for permanent and citizenship. So the classes are full of people, Southeast Asians included, learning the language so that they can pass the driver's test and everything else. Shega's full of it, just like MAGA is full of
Yeah.
it, right? They find three immigrants who have been here for a long time who refuse to learn anything and say, see, right? One immigrant kills one little blonde haired girl in America, and now all of a sudden all
All
Latinos
immigrants.
are MS-13 or agua caliente or whatever, whoever's agua it is, somebody's agua. It's all goofy. It's just goofy. Um, and it's I don't believe a lot of these people who preach this stuff really believe this stuff. I think they know how to get power and they know how to manipulate those who are uninformed. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's right because racism doesn't make any sense and it's so friggin' expensive. It's illogical. One thing to keep in mind is depending on the country, you may not be able to have a bank account in that country based upon your visa. That too is true. Right? That too is true. So that's something else to check out before you leave. Because if you're not allowed to have a bank account, so that means you're transferring money
Right.
every month, that can get expensive. I don't think I would move to a place where I wasn't allowed to have a bank account. That doesn't seem wise. It doesn't seem financially wise to transfer money every month like that. It can get expensive. It can get expensive. Thank you, Kim Khan. Thank you, thank you, thank
Oh, thank you,
you.
Kim.
All money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That's our financial freedom course for late bloomers. Okay, last one from members. Americans are the only ones that are not multilingual.
True.
True that.
So true.
Say less. Say less. Okay, Zam, let's come back. Okay, part one. If someone wanted to come and visit Portugal, Mexico for 1 to 3 months, could they do house sitting so they would have time to explore the places, etc.? Passport, will there be an issue? Okay, that's part one. And then part two, well, there could be. And then what are the pros and cons if you can do it? And could you have a remote job while house sitting? Okay, so here's the deal. So yes, you can have a remote job and visit countries on a tourist visa because that's what you're talking about.
Right.
1 to 3 months is a tourist visa. All right, so that's number one. If you come here to Portugal or if you go to Mexico and they ask you, what are you doing here, or what is the purpose of your vacation, of your visit? Do not say to house sit, because some immigration people will look at that and say, that's a job. That's a job that you are taking away from somebody else. And you say, yeah, but I'm not getting paid. But you're getting free room and board. So you are getting paid in exchange. You've created a bartering situation there. So house sitters, do not tell the immigration people that you are coming to town to house sit.
Yeah, they're on a need to know basis.
They don't need to know
that.
You were there on vacation. That's all they need to know. That's all they, and you staying at a friend's house. Here's the address, right? That's all they need to know. So that's the thing about house sitting. And I've known one person that happened to. They got turned away, and then I just saw a video a couple of days ago from a house sitter that got turned away from the United States. Yes, from Jamaica to the United States, and she was there to house sit, which sucks because now that house sitter didn't have a house sitter. I mean, the people who wanted the house sitter didn't have a house sitter, right? Or a pet sitter. So yeah, that's the way to travel. That is the way to travel. Rick and I, when we travel, we try to integrate a house sit or two to extend our vacation without having to extend the amount of money in the same amount, right? So I don't see any cons necessarily. You'll want to make sure that and we do when we do house sits, we only do house sits where they have high speed internet. If you're going to be working remotely, you're going to need high speed internet. So that's got to be one of your criteria, and you might even want to ask them to do a speed test and screenshot it and send it to you.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many people I know who have had to move back to the USA because they could not afford to survive in Mexico. Really, Justice. Don't come here unprepared thinking it's a game. Life will show up. Um, I like, okay, I think you broke this up into different pieces. Okay. Like, yeah, it's not. It's not. Okay, Jesse, you wrote it a couple of times. All right, I'm going to unstar those. Yeah, like we said, we've heard the stories. We have heard horror stories. We have heard horror stories. This is our fourth summer here, y'all. Life abroad is doable. The biggest thing that you've got to think about, because what you will not be able to do necessarily is go down to the Walmart and apply for a job.
No.
Go down to the Starbucks and apply for a job just to get some little extra change, right? Is how much income are you going to need and where's it coming from? Like I said, we designed this life to live off of one Social Security check. So if Social Security still exists in another year and a half, that's going to be icing on the cake, right? That's not going to be the cake. That's going to be the icing on the cake. That's going to be more upgrades to first class. Right? That's not going to be rent. That's not going to be food or utilities or transportation or health insurance. That's going to be extra splurges, y'all. All right. So even though our basics here come to, and when I say basics, this does not include food or restaurants, but like housing, utilities, cell phone, our Metro card,
cards.
right? The basics, right? That comes to about $1,500 per month. And I say about because exchange rate, right? 15 to 1550 a month. So that leaves us an extra $1,200 a month to do with whatever. So that's food, Ubers, entertainment.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so much free entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, people watching and going down to the square and there's music playing, DJ set up, there's so much free entertainment.
Yeah. And Lisbon does a lot of free programs for its citizens.
It does. It really does. And when you live in a place that's very dense, where most people have apartments as opposed to single family homes, I have a feeling that these are the cities and communities that do a lot more community programming. Excuse me, because people don't have backyards. So people are out in them streets, right? They're at cafes, they're out.
Mm-hmm.
In the summertime, there's a DJ that is down in the square that plays Brazilian music every Friday and Saturday night. And then there's usually booths set up. There's a right next to where he sets up, there is a kiosk. And what's great is, and when we had young people here last year, we were down there and we were dancing. But what and they were dancing during the meetup too.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. What is great is to see not just young adults, but to see all age groups. It would not be unusual to literally see a dad with a toddler daughter doing the samba or whatever out there, right? And senior couples, older couples, all the way down to the 20-year-olds and everybody in between. And that's one of the things that I love, love, love about living here in Portugal, right? It's just, I don't know, and safe, right? You got families out and all of this stuff, and nothing's popping off. Although I remember one time, this man was so drunk and he was upset at his girlfriend and went to throw his beer on his girlfriend and hit our friend as well. Got beer all over him. Ooh, so that got a little heated. That got a little heated. Shalom, shalom to you.
Shalom.
I've been missing out on a lot. I haven't been getting notifications. Oh no, I miss y'all. Well, we're sorry. And that, so y'all, I'm trying to find this. I haven't found a texting service yet that seems like a good bang for the buck. So if you know of one, let us know because we have heard and YouTube knows that they have this issue. I don't think everybody who hits the notification bell, I don't think 100% of the people get the notifications. I don't think so, and I know they do them rolling. So I'm just not sure. All right, this is going to be our last question. Is it complicated for a disabled person to move to Portugal? It depends on what the disability is. So they don't really have like an ADA here,
No.
right? There's no American Disability Act here necessarily. I don't know what kind of disability act they have here. What I do know is um, that it's an old city. And so, mobility wise, there's a lot of situations that are not friendly to folks who have mobility issues. I know I have been in the metro and I'm like, okay, so if that elevator is down, where are people supposed to go? Because all I see is stairs and I don't see any other elevator. Now, of course, I don't really have to worry about it because I can always walk up the stairs. But I do notice when I see elevators down and stuff like that, and I don't see an alternative elevator, for folks. So there's that. Navigating if you're in a wheelchair or something like that, trying to get on public transportation is difficult. A lot of the streets are cobblestone. Most of the sidewalks are cobblestone. So there's that. Um, as far as sight and sound, all of the crosswalks and things like that, they do have the beeping and all of that. So and there's a braille, but most folks who have lost sight cannot read braille. But that does exist, and I don't know if it's the same kind of braille. Is there more than one? I have no idea. I know there's different kind of sign language.
And the sound is in Portuguese.
Exactly. Whatever they're gonna say is gonna be in Portuguese. Right. So it depends on what the disability is.
Yeah. I mean, there's disabled people here though. And
yeah, there's disabled people
that get
everywhere.
around.
Right. So you did
There's
see Killer Queen. All right. So I think that's it, y'all. Look, I never want you all to think that we are painting things as roses and rainbows and that everything is just perfect in Portugal and all you have to do is just move here and then life will be perfect and la di da. No 100% no. But what I am saying is that you can find a freedom at a lower cost, and not just Portugal. I'm talking about outside of the United States, right? Portugal's not for everybody. It's just not, all right? But there is some place for you outside of the United States. There's some place for you. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be safer. You're going to feel more seen and respected, and it's going to cost less. And I bet you it's going to be more community oriented because most other nations are more community oriented.
Yeah.
Most other nations do not believe in that rugged individualism bull crap. It's bull crap. There's no way we can do this thing alone. So once again, expat life is not a vacation. Got to learn how to deal with immigration and bureaucracies, the conversion rates, the taxes, protecting your money, dealing with everything being in another language. And then, of course, knowing that there are folks in your new home who just really don't want you there. But we as Black people, we used to that, right? That's just a Tuesday for us.
Keep on moving.
Right? We keep on moving. So if you have more questions, right now we've got our side hustle challenge going on. Y'all know that. We will have another cohort in, I don't know, maybe we do 2 a year. I don't know. We're in the middle of it. And it doesn't end until mid-September. If you're going to be in Mexico, or if you want to come and celebrate Rick's birthday down in Mexico, it is the 27th of September. We will be in Querétaro, Mexico for a meetup birthday celebration. So come join us in Querétaro, Mexico. I'm not talking about the Facebook group anymore. We're going to have to find another platform because they kicked me off.
I mean, I'm on it and I'm letting people in and stuff like that.
But we're going to be moving that. We're definitely going to be moving that. So if you have more questions and you want one-on-one consultation, that information is in the description below. As well, we have a move abroad toolkit. We have a ready to retire toolkit and a scouting trip checklist. We have so many resources for you. And every single video, they're going to be in the description below. It's a little bit more tricky on a phone, but hit that more button and you can see the description. And we've got links to everything. And with that,
if you want to support the channel even more,
become a member. Yes.
A utopian legend.
Yes. And hang out with us every other Thursday, right? Every other Thursday, come on air with us and let's talk. If you're a legend, if you are a member, we hang out with all of our members who are available. This every Sunday before we go live, we're in a private Zoom and we're talking. So it's behind the scenes and we're talking about, and you guys are asking questions, et cetera, et cetera. So join us. We have fun. We're building community. We're supporting each other. We're answering each other's questions and all of that. And that's what it's all about. And that's how we're going to survive this. And this is how we're going to thrive through these topsy-turvy times. Because it's crazy, y'all.
It's crazy.
Love you. And we'll see you next week. No, we'll see you on Thursday. We'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, today is only Monday.
Today's
Sunday.
Today's
my God.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Domingo.
Bye, y'all.